A secondary school is a school which provides secondary education between the ages of 11 and 16 or 11 and 19, after primary school and before higher education. Africa. Nigeria. In Nigeria, secondary school is for children from ages 10 to 15. Secondary education is divided into two parts: the junior and senior secondary education. The junior secondary education, which takes in ages 10 to 12, is pre-vocational and academic in scope. Most courses are compulsory, except religious and language courses. For students to continue into senior secondary school, they have to make passing grades in the junior secondary school certificate examinations. In senior secondary school, which now consists of ages 13 to 15, students are allowed to choose which areas to concentrate on, be it science, arts, commerce, or technical studies. All students have to sit for a senior secondary certificate examination, of which there are two: the West African Senior Secondary Certificate Examination and the National Examination Council (SSCE). Students must pass this before being admitted into any university. Somalia. In Somalia, secondary school starts from Form 9 and ends in Form 12. Students start it when they are 14, 15 and finish it when they are 18. Students will need to study Somali, Arabic, English or Italian depending on the type of school, religion, chemistry, physics, biology, physical education, textiles, art and design and occasionally music. When they finish secondary school, they are sent to national training camp before going to either college to train as a primary teacher, joining the army or starting university to attain a degree. Pupils' age can sometimes vary, as students may require to repeat a previous year if they had not achieved their required grade, or may skip a year if their level of achievement is higher than predicted. Asia. Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, secondary school is called high school from classes 8 to 10. After this, the students sit for their secondary school certificate. They then take admission to college, which is the name for senior secondary, consisting of classes 11 and 12. Apart from that, in the Cambridge system, Standard 1 to Standard 4 is the junior section. Standard 5 to 7 are the junior secondary section, and from Standard 8 to 10 is the beginning of high school. Students sit for their O-level and A-level examinations before applying for universities. Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, the government provides a 12-year compulsory education to students in the territory. Students are promoted to secondary schools after finishing their primary school education. Until the 2008-2009 school year, secondary schools had 7 grades. But starting from school year 2009-2010, the 3-3-4 scheme is in operation. Form 4 to 6 has become senior secondary. 1 to 3, Form 7 has been eliminated, and universities provide 4 years of education instead of 3. India. In India, high school is a grade of education from standards IX to X. Standards IX and X are also called secondary school. Usually, students from ages 14 to 17 study in this section. These schools may be affiliated to national boards or various state boards. Education is compulsory until age 14. Although most are standalone day schools, some popular schools are residential. Traditional second stage informal education, typically beginning at ages 14 to 16 and ending at 16 to 18. Japan. Malaysia. Secondary school in Malaysia is considered as high school. Students attend secondary school in the age of 13 and usually graduate at 17. There is an optional form also known as pre-university. The Form 1 until Form 3 students are lower secondary students, while Form 4 until Form 6 are upper secondary students. There are 2 major exams in the secondary school. The first is PMR, although it is abolished now and replaced with PT3 for the third former and SPM for the fifth former. The PT3 consists 8 compulsory subjects: Malay language, English language, mathematics, science, history, geography, living skills and Islamic education. While for the SPM, there are 6 compulsory subjects, similar to those taken in PT3 except living skills and geography. There are 6 sections of elective subjects, such as social science and religion, information technology, arts and health, technical and vocational, language and literature. Pakistan. In Pakistan, secondary school is called high school from classes 9 to 10. After successful completion of elementary education, primary plus middle school education, the students receive secondary education. Secondary education is in between elementary education and higher education. Board of Intermediate and Secondary Education arrange the examinations of intermediate, HSSC higher secondary school certificates and matric secondary school certificates. Class 9 and 10 education is received from high schools and Class 11 and 12 education is received from higher secondary schools and intermediate colleges. Singapore. In Singapore, Singaporeans aged between 13 to 17 are required to attend secondary school after taking the primary school leaving examination at the end of primary education. The examination determines whether the student is ready to leave primary school by passing. Places in secondary schools are allocated according to students' performance in the examination. The performance of the examination also determines which track or stream students end up in. The 4 different tracks or streams are Special, Express, Normal, or Normal. Starting 2008, the Special stream has merged with the Express stream and are now considered one single stream. Europe. Ireland. In Ireland, secondary schools go from first year to 6th year, with the typical student age being between 12 and 18. It is split into 2 cycles. The junior cycle, a 3-year course with the junior certificate taking place at the end of 3rd year, and the senior cycle, a 2 to 3-year course with the leaving certificate taking place at the end of the 6th year. 4th year, also known as transition year, is optional, but is included as part of the senior cycle. The majority of secondary schools no longer allow their students to skip this year. Subjects vary slightly between the 2 certificates, however. English, Irish and maths are mandatory, and both these 3 subjects are offered at higher, ordinary and foundation level. Other subjects are only offered at higher or ordinary level, with the exception of junior certificate subject, civic, social and political education, which is common level. Education is mandatory up until the age of 16 or until the junior certificate has been sat. The majority of secondary schools also require students to wear school uniforms and in some cases a physical education uniform as well. Secondary schools are sometimes called college, e.g., Clongowes Wood College in County Kildare. Italy. In Italy, education is organised into 3 levels: Scuola primaria or primary school, Scuola secondaria di primo grado or lower secondary school, Scuola secondaria I secondo grado or upper secondary school. Moldova. In Moldova, education is organized in 3 levels: primary school, lower secondary school, upper secondary school. United Kingdom. England and Wales. In England and Wales, secondary school is for children from the ages of 11 to 16 or 11 to 18. Secondary school incorporates Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4 of the national curriculum. After year 11, they may leave school but must stay in some form of education until they are in the equivalent of year 13, upper 6th. This could involve doing A-levels or BTECS at a 6th form college, vocational diplomas at college, or an apprenticeship. The last year group that could leave compulsory education after year 11 was the year 11 class of 2012. Curriculum. The core curriculum is the compulsory secondary curriculum for Key Stage 3 and 4 years, Form 7-11 over 1-5, English, Mathematics, Science. Modern foreign language is now compulsory for Key Stage 3 children. Common languages include French, German, Spanish, or Italian. GCSEs must be taken in English, maths and science. Also compulsory until Year 11. Form 5R. Personal social health education, citizenship, religious studies or religious education, physical education, sex education. This may be taught as part of PSHE, and biology. Examinations in these subjects are not compulsory, but a full or short course GCSE may be sat if the student wishes. In some schools, examinations in some of these subjects are school policy. Key Stage 3, Year 7 to 9, Form 1 to 3 curriculum. The core curriculum, plus the other key foundation subjects: art and design, design and technology, drama, geography, history, other MFLs, music. Scotland is the term high school originated in Edinburgh, Scotland. This is the most common phrase used when referring to the second tier of education in the country. Scotland has a long history of universal provision of public education, and the Scottish education system is distinctly different from the other countries of the United Kingdom. The Scotland Act 1998 gives Scottish Parliament legislative control over all education matters, and the Education Act 1980 is the principal legislation governing education in Scotland. Traditionally, the Scottish system at secondary school level has emphasised breadth across a range of subjects, while the English, Welsh and Northern Irish systems have emphasised greater depth of education over a smaller range of subjects. In Scotland, secondary school is for children from the ages of 11 to 18, compulsory up to the age of 16. The majority of state schools are non-denominational, but as a result of the Education Act 1918, separate denominational state schools were also established. The vast majority of denominational state schools are Roman Catholic, but there are also a number of Scottish Episcopal schools. The school buildings are built and maintained by the Roman Catholic Church were handed over to the state under the Education Act. Since then, the Catholic schools are fully funded by the Scottish Government and administered by the Learning Directorate. As part of the deal, there are specific legal provisions to ensure the promotion of a Catholic ethos in such schools. Applicants for positions in the areas of religious education, guidance or senior management must be approved by the Roman Catholic Church in Scotland, which also appoints a chaplain to each of its schools. Qualifications at the secondary school and post-secondary level are provided by the Scottish Qualifications Authority, which is the national awarding and accrediting body in Scotland, and delivered through various schools, colleges and other centres. Political responsibility for education at all levels is vested in the Scottish Parliament and the Learning Directorate. Malta. In Malta, secondary schools are also called junior lyceums. Obliged education is organised in two levels: primary schools, secondary schools. When a student finishes Form 5, she can do the O-levels. A student may choose not to do them. If they pass, they will spend 2 years in sixth form, which is not an obliged level of education but needed to have a job. After 2 years in sixth form, a student may do her A-levels and intermediates. A-levels are harder than intermediates, but a student needs both to go to the next level of education, which is university. Middle East. In Saudi Arabia, Syria and Kuwait, secondary school includes grade 10 through 12. The Americas. United States. In the United States, the term can refer to two types of school. The first type is the same as a high school, while the second type refers to an alternative school which is sometimes called a secondary school. In some jurisdictions, secondary school may refer to an institution that houses grades 6 to 12, or both middle school and high school years. For example, Robinson Secondary School, Canada. In Canada, secondary schools are educational institutions consisting most commonly of students enrolled in grades 10 through 12. 4 provinces' high schools consist of grades 9 to 12, and in Quebec, high school years are secondary 1 through to secondary 5. Variations and subdivisions of these structures are fairly common. Argentina. In Argentina, secondary education is divided into two: the basic secondary education and high secondary school. The education is compulsory. Some schools require entrance exam. Students comprise between 12 and 18 years old. Brazil. In Brazil, admission to secondary school requires the student to achieve a specific grade in primary school. Secondary school is the same as high school plus second fundamental year in all Brazilian states, and is normally attended by 10 to 18-year-old students. Mexico. In Mexico, secondary school refers to educational institutions usually consisting of students enrolled in grades 7 through 9. Some schools require an entrance exam, known as secundarias. These schools are the equivalent of junior high schools. From the secundaria, students may be tracked into vocational schools known as escuelas técnicas, CBTIs or CETIs, or into escuelas preparatorias, what provide a traditional lyceum or gymnasium education similar to American high schools. Private, denominational secundarias are known as colegios. In rural regions, telesecundaria is offered via online and television formats. Less than 70% of the population completes middle school in Mexico. Chile. The secondary is called secondary education. Teens go from 14 to 18 years. Classes begin in March, 2 semesters, and end in December, but private schools or colleges can start on another date. In July, given the winter holidays of 2 weeks or 1.5. In January begins summer vacation, until the beginning of March. Venezuela. In Venezuela, secondary schools are educational institutions teaching grades 7 to 11. Classes begin in September, are 3 terms, and end in July. In Venezuela, secondary education is called bachillerato. It is divided into two: middle education, from grades 7 to 9, and diversified education or high school, covering grades 10-11. Oceania. Australia. In Australia, secondary school is called high school, from year 7 to year 12 in every state but South Australia, and Western Australia, where high school is started in year 8. In both Tasmania and the Australian Capital Territory, high school constitutes years 7 to 10, with college consisting of year 11 and 12. New Zealand. In New Zealand, secondary school is often called college or high school. The majority of secondary schools run from year 9 to year 13, with students aged 12.5 to 18.5. In some areas, including Invercargill and most of the Southland region, secondary school starts at year 7, with students aged from 10.5